pull out. So I'm just gonna roll myself up a little something, something. Okay, so here are my thoughts right now. I'm gonna change the song. So my thoughts on, where do I even begin? Where do I even begin? So I'm thinking this is the best time to be alive right now, and I know it does not seem like it. There's a lot of like bumpiness going on for sure, totally. But I think the recognition of the bumpiness is what is like turning things around, I guess. I feel like that sounds so not clear. Okay, drugs. That's what I'm talking about. And I think that is part of what can change and heal the world. And when I'm talking about drugs, okay, technically everything's a drug. Literally everything. Your phone's a drug. Like, it's not just something you put into your body, like doing some sort of action. And like, you can be addicted to like, you can be addicted to anything. You know what I mean? So I'm talking about like stuff that doesn't harm you, you know? And I guess what I'm talking about is like mushrooms and like acid and weed and like DMT, some doses of like, I think ketamine, I think if you're like cool with it. Yeah, like I think dude, like we're, because what they do, it's not like the thing that's gonna like solve everything. It's what they reveal about our true nature is what, and that knowledge is what will change, and understanding is what will change the world, you know? The world doesn't change, it's the consciousness of the people that change the world. And I think we can do that because just telling people to like meditate and be by yourself and go inward and like, you know, be silent and still, like, people aren't doing that, you know, because it's such a go fucking atmosphere, you know what I mean? This place is, I can feel the energy of just like, you're just sitting and you're just not doing anything. What a waste. Like, you need to be doing something with your time. You have to fill up your time with like shit all the time, and if you don't, then you're not being a productive citizen of the society, I guess, right? Which, whoever said that is lying. Because being a productive citizen, being like productive and good, stillness is productive. Stillness is just as productive as movement. It's when you kind of fall into one side of it is when you're not productive anymore. So that goes back to when I was talking about the yin yang symbol, the like and the yang is kind of, it's movement, it's go, it's productive, it's not productive, it's movement, it's action. And then yin is yielding, is stopping, is going inward. Yang is going outward. But if you're always doing this and you're never doing that, is the equivalent of like just going and just doing that and just never, yin is just letting go. And I think we're all really afraid to do the yin part because we're afraid to like let go. But it always always comes back because it's a cycle. It's like life is a circle. Like it's something to be scared about. And there's nothing to fear. It's a circle. Yeah. So I think it reveals our true nature. Yeah, that's what I said. Having these sort of experiences, these trips, right? And then you know who you are more deeply. We don't know who we are, and that's why there's so much wrong, and that's why there's no peace. You know, that's why we're just so we're not trustworthy of each other, and we're not having these, like, we're capable of having deep, meaningful relationships with each other, and we don't, because we don't know who we are. If I don't know who I am, I'm not going to know who you are. For sure, I'm not going to know who you are. So then I'm just projecting out just shit that, like, isn't even true. I feel like I'm all over the place right now, but, like, how can you tell someone, like, who they are if you don't know who you are? And if you think you know who you are, really, like, sit and think about it. Think about who you are. And, like, what is talking? What is inside of you? What is, like, that sense of, like, I am, the thing that sits behind your eyes, kind of, like, maybe in between your ears, somewhere in, like, the center of your head is this sense of, like, I'm here. Who's experiencing this? You know what I mean? Like, who's experiencing this life? And you'd be like, oh, it's me. But who's me? Is it, like, who? I think it's, like, because the same you that you're talking about, I'm also experiencing that. I'm also experiencing that, like, that sense of I. We all experience that sense of I. That's all we all collectively have in common, is the experience of I am. And I think that is, what's going on with this lighting? I think that's how you get into the feeling of this connectedness. We all, so it's kind of like, I think that's what, big jump, but, like, follow me. I think that's what Jesus was talking about when he's talking about, like, I am the way. I think it's I am the way to the Father and to the light, to heaven, something like that. And he's not referring to just himself, and he's like, you gotta come to me to get to there. It's no, like, you gotta go to that, the I-ness is where it's at. You know? It's that collective I that we all share. And that's the way to the Father, to the heavens, to whatever it is, wherever you're trying to go. It's in you. You have access to it. You don't have to ask someone for it. You don't have to go to somebody. You don't need to do anything to deserve it. It's already yours, you know? Like, you already have access to the Garden of Eden, you know? The kingdom of heaven is you. Like, it's you. That's the I. The I that you experience is it. And I think that is what Jesus is referring to. Jesus is a reflection of us. We're not separate from it. And I think that's what he was trying to say, and I think that's what religion was meant to teach us, and then it got fucked up along the way. The main message, but that we're not separate. We're like one thing. And I think that is what is plaguing our minds, and I think that's what causes so much mental problems, is because we're trying to get people to convince them that we're separate from each other. And then that makes you go fucking crazy. That makes you go ape shit to think that you're separate from what's going on, because that's like that's not what our true nature is, you know? And that's such a dangerous way to look at each other, you know, to say that, you know, you're to identify as a certain, like, in a certain status position, a certain job. I'm a student, I'm an American, I'm like I'm this, I'm that. Like, it's, you just are, that's it. It's I am, and then it ends. And then we all have that, and then that's the thing that, like, and that's how you, the feeling that you get when you look into someone's eyes for a really long time and it gets kind of weird, that is you recognizing yourself in them and seeing that it's all just one thing. And it's so, it's crazy. It's crazy. And I think maybe that's not why we all think about it all the time, because it's like, it's heavy. But it feels so much better than thinking that you're not part of nature and each other, and, like, you know. I think that's like what, with what's going on right now and like all the crazy shit that's happening, I think it's kind of like, it's gone so far to the edge. Like, we're experiencing that separateness to the absolute extreme that will come through to the other end and experience the unity again, if that makes sense. Because, like, life's a circle. It's this like weird loop, because then we become one unit, and then it feels good and it's great, and then you're like, I wanna try, like, to, I guess, to duplicate and to separate, and like, you don't know who you are anymore when everything becomes one, I guess, you know? So then you wanna separate, but then you identify as a separation, and you forget that underneath you were just one all along. That one's kind of tricky to, like, think about, but